Over the last couple of weeks, I've been studying up on homemade greenhouses. Some of you guys might remember in our goals for this year, one of the things that we talked about was building a greenhouse. And I looked at a bunch of different options, and you can spend a lot of money doing this, or you can do it yourself and save some money. So obviously, I think you probably know which route I chose. So what I'm gonna build today is a roughly 12-foot long by, I don't know what it'll end up being, 7 feet tall, hoop style greenhouse, and I believe I've got all the pieces that I need here to do it. So today I'm gonna try to get this thing put together and we'll see if it's any good. That's what's going on today on Farmer Tyler Ranch. Today while I'm building the greenhouse, I'm gonna be babysitting these beef short ribs. I put these ribs on the smoker this morning at around 8 o'clock and the temperature is set to 225, 230, somewhere in there. So it looks like these things are about ready to wrap. We'll go ahead and get them wrapped up and then we'll start on the greenhouse. I'm wrapping these ribs in parchment paper. Usually I use foil, but a lot of the things that I've been seeing say that parchment paper is going to keep a better bark on that meat. So I decided to give it a try and we'll see how it works. So I guess the first big question is I got to figure out where I'm going to put this thing, and I'd like to put it over by the garden, but there's not really a good place to put it over there where it's not going to take up garden space and also be in the sun all day. So I'm thinking that behind the shop here gets sun all day long and I can just clear out a little space for it back here somewhere. So I think right here where the old hay platform is a perfect spot. And then the other good thing about putting it here is that when we no longer need the greenhouse for plants, this would make a pretty good paint booth for small parts. When most people refer to a dump trailer, they're talking about a trailer that has a bed that dumps. My dump trailer just goes to the dump. I've got everything squared up here and it's not quite level, but it is consistent from one side to the other. So that's what really matters here. The next step is bringing the panels over here and making the arch. I have to say, getting the panels in place, I thought might end up being a two-man job, but it really wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. So next step, we just got to bring the other two over, get them set up, and then we can start attaching everything together. I went ahead and I used zip ties to connect these panels together. I'm not sure if I like that or not. At the very least, I probably should have used some heavier zip ties, but these are just what I happen to have. So the next step is to attach these panels and my concrete stakes and my 2x6 all together. So, well, I'm not gonna say that this is wind-proof, but it'll be wind resistant. The way that I'm gonna do this is with these U-bolts, and these will just kind of sandwich everything together. Obviously, I've got to drill some holes in the 2x6, and I am just going to press like that, and that'll give me 2 marks so that I now know where to drill my holes. Oh, get on there. There's my hammer. I would say that this was the easy part. The hard part, especially because it's a little bit breezy today, is going to be getting the plastic on the structure. The first thing that I need to think about is how am I going to hold that plastic down? I know how I'm going to attach it to the frame, but I need to be able to roll the sides up a little bit if I want ventilation or if it's particularly hot. And the way that I think I'm going to do that is by taking some 3/4 PVC, filling it with water, and cutting it to length, capping either end, and then I'll figure out some kind of a way to attach the greenhouse plastic to the pipe so that you can roll it up, and therefore you could roll your sides up to get ventilation in there. I know that I want this pipe a little bit longer than the end of the greenhouse because I'll want somewhere to be able to roll. Now, if I wanted to get fancy, I could make like a PVC handle that, you know, was a kind of a crank handle like that. But I'm not sure how committed I am to this design, or at least to this material. So I'm not gonna go too far with it now, but I will leave myself enough room so that I can easily roll it up. I've measured this about 10 times, and I think I've got my board there where I need it. I want 18 feet this way. That'll give me a foot extra on either side because the panels are 16 footers. So we'll cut that dimension first, and then we'll cut the length, I guess. And then I'm hoping I'll somehow, some way, figure out a way to get the plastic on there. Well, I don't know how good my duct tape's gonna work, but so far it seems to be holding, and it adheres very well to the greenhouse plastic. I think I've got an idea of how I can get the plastic on the hoop. If it works, I'm gonna look like a genius, and if not, well, then I guess we'll figure something else out. my last video when I smoked something, a lot of people were curious as to why I put the finished product in an ice chest, and I'm not putting it in an ice bath or anything like that. The point of doing that is actually not to make it cold, it's to keep it warm. When you pull the meat off of the smoker, it's a good idea to let it rest for at least an hour. And the purpose of that is that it just reabsorbs a lot of those juices and ends up tasting a lot better. So I rest my meat in an ice chest. You could do it in your oven, anything that's gonna hold heat, but usually the ice chest is the most convenient thing at hand. So while that meat's resting, let's finish up here with the greenhouse. To attach the back wall in the greenhouse, I just use these tarp clips or clamps, and you know, they work. I'm not crazy about how it looks. It looks very amateur, which I am, but I think if this is something that we do year after year, I might try to find a more permanent way of doing that that looks a little bit nicer. I can already feel a temperature difference in here. It's noticeably warmer, which is kind of surprising that it would be apparent that soon. I don't have a door. That's it's obvious, right? I'll probably do a sheet like I did on the back, but then slit the middle and put like some weights on the bottom so that those don't blow open all the time, but that it would be easy enough to just, you know, just peek on in there and go and do what you got to do. And actually the only reason that I'm not doing that now is because I need more tarp clips. I ended up wanting to use more than I had originally planned on. So I used like all 10 in the back, and I was thinking 5 in the back, 5 in the front. So we'll just have to order some more of those. They're not too expensive, but that's what's going on there. One thing that didn't work out the way I planned is I was gonna use these clamps to hold my my plastic here. Like if I was to roll it up to there, I was wanting to use the clamp to hold it so that it wouldn't roll back down. The problem is that the clamps are too big, so it can still unravel inside there. But as I got to thinking about this, I can't imagine what I would ever use these for otherwise, so I don't mind like modifying them a little bit. But I think if I just wrap them in duct tape and thereby making their jaws a little bit smaller, then I think it would hold that plastic, and then I could leave this rolled up and they would work the way that I intended them to. So let's give that a try. I mean, I want that jaw to be soft anyway, so it's not a bad idea to just do this, I guess. Well, there we go. A lot of duct tape and zip ties on this project. I'm not sure if I like that. That's what I was wanting. Well, it's been about an hour since I pulled those ribs off of the smoker, so let's go inside and do some taste testing. All right, let's try a bone pull. Callie, you want to try some? Good? All right, Callie said good. Yeah. Good. All right. We got a yes from Callie. We got a yes from Mommy. What about this guy? You like it? You want more? Good job. Here. You want some toy bacon with it? There, yeah. I don't know. Should I be offended by that? Well, it looks like everybody approves. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys, and I hope I'll see you again on Farmer Tyler Ranch.